All right, welcome back to The Light, sponsored by AtlanticCityFocus.com. And we are here to play 5 questions with the one and only Chris Crane. He is an award winning poet, he is an actor, face of Camden, and I don't know how many people know that you better not sneak up on him because he's a boxer as well. He's nice with them hands. So we have 5 questions that he's never heard before, at least not from me. And we're gonna see what kind of 5 answers that we get. How you doing today, champ? That wasn't one of
I'm
them.
good. I'm good, brother. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Okay. So question thank you for doing this. Question number one. As much as you're willing to reveal, what was your name at birth?
What you see on the screen, Chris Crean, Christopher Crean.
Christopher.
Actually, my name. This is the first time I ever say my full name on any kind of recording. My full name is Christopher Joseph Alexander Crean. Joseph Alexander, Jersey Joe, my grandfather. Jersey Joseph Alexander was his dad. I'm named after his dad.
Okay. Well, that brings me to my next question. Who is or who was Arnold Raymond Crane?
Arnold Raymond Crean was my dad's dad, my grandfather, my biological grandfather, my father's side. Uh, Greatest man I've ever known.
That's all you want to
Former
say about
heavyweight
him?
champion, former heavyweight champion of the world, also known as Jersey Joe Walcott. He was the fourth African American heavyweight champion of the world in the lineage of Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, Ezra Charles, and then my grandfather. Uh, he was the referee of the famous Liston and Ali fight with the Phantom Punch. Uh, he lost the belt to Rocky Marciano. He beat Ezra Charles for the belt. He's the first African American sheriff of Canton County. My grandfather was a giant, but he was grandpa to me.
Definitely, definitely. Uh, how well did you box?
Um, what's funny is I didn't necessarily know as a kid growing up what my skill set was. They didn't let us box in the sport per se. They taught us, but because my grandpa, if you if you listen to Gervonta Take Davis or any fighter today, and you ask them if they'll let their kid box, they're going to tell you no. So anybody who actually stepped into the ring never wants their lineage, rarely wants their lineage to actually step into the sport for whatever ills that they see at the particular point in time. A lot of times, if you listen again to say Tanker, those guys now, they're not running from each other. The politics of boxing, the different hands that are in the pot that control the dollar and the narrative, it wears on them. Now, if you go back into that period of time with my grandfather Fox, that was heavily mob influenced, heavy mafia influence. So take that and put that into the element of what I just explained, and you'll understand why my grandfather didn't necessarily want us following the footsteps and going into the profession, but learning it was a different thing. So I say all that to say we learned boxing and learned the techniques and all that stuff, but it didn't encourage us to be physical, and we didn't have to be. It wasn't a requirement. For whatever reason, our personalities, who we were, wasn't necessarily something we had to grow up defending ourselves in the city. Um, but as I grow up and I look at what people don't know or the things I've been able to impart on people over the last 5 to 10 years, grown people to children with teaching box, I'm like, oh my God, you guys didn't know this or that or this, or like the basics to a jab or footwork or you know what a line is, or being like the basics of it, like that right there. Like wow, if that's the case. I've known this stuff since I was 12. You know,
Right.
so I'm looking at 30 and 40-year-old people that still don't know those simple things right now. It's like wow, and they had their little reputations, but the basics of it all, like you really don't know much.
Okay. Um,
You box?
who me?
I'm sorry, it's your question. Do you box? You ever box? You ever?
I don't box, but I can defend myself at all times.
No, 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 no,
And
no, no, no.
and
No, no, no,
and
no, 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 no. It's called the sweet science for a reason.
oh, I know.
Oh, so inside of boxing, the science comes out. So defending yourself, fighting, different things.
I
Have you ever been in the ring to box to understand like, oh, now I see the difference? Because if you had to
I
fight
took
before you had to fight,
I took a couple of boxing classes, and
right, right,
to your point about being in the ring, I don't even want to get in the ring, but the way that you train, it
the
does
training. That's the part I'm getting at,
it does something to your stamina. Like if
and
you
your
just
mental.
in your mental, because if you would have, let's say you had fast hands and you really were good in your hands. If you get in the ring with somebody who knows footwork, the longer you in there, the more they they liable to put you out on your back, because really they don't even have to touch you, and they can just let you wear yourself out.
Facts, facts, and that's usually when you hear boxers say, well, I'm gonna take him into deep waters and I'm gonna drown him. That's
Right.
exactly what they're talking about. Because your adrenaline, everybody has adrenaline, and that's a nut. And when it busts, it's like, ooh, now you're like, oh. Now that person who knows and has the sweet science and the skill set, now, come on. Now the fight starts.
My my
Now the
first
fight starts.
my first boxing class, I was by the end of it, I was breathing like an asthmatic, and they cut it
Yeah,
short.
yeah,
So
yeah. I tell you what, 3 rounds is forever. 3 rounds is with punches coming at you and you blocking it, it's forever.
forever,
Multiply that by 12. Go 4, go 3, go
forever,
2.
forever. So here's a question, and
Sure.
I'm going to cheat because I'm going to ask you two. I'm going to ask you one more
Okay.
boxing question, and I'm going to ask you a poetry question.
Okay.
Uh, who's nicer with their hands, you or Ray Shyster Williams?
I've never seen Shice box, but I know Shice has a background in boxing, and he's North Philly's finest. Um, he ain't grow up in North Philly without having some bump ins, not with that attitude, not with that disposition, and that size. So he's a menace to society in his own poetic right. Uh, However, I don't know what his footwork is like. My footwork is mean. My
Okay.
footwork is mean, and he started the footwork. This man right here started the footwork. Everybody else walked forward. You watch today, a lot of fighters still walk forward. Those who don't, literally, will tell you go listen to James Toney, Lennox Lewis, Devin Haney, Floyd Mayweather. They mimicked a lot of his footwork and movement. A
Yeah, he's
lot of my
pointing to
grandfathers.
Jersey Joe Walcott.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, you can't see it on my shirt. So this is
Right.
Ring Magazine, right? This is the Ring Magazine cover from 1951. Um, and this one at the bottom of it says Father Time, because I think this is the year, I got a few of these, that he won the title. And he defied Father Time because he had, at that point in time, become the oldest man to win the title. That title that was in the Guinness Book for 50 years. It stood for 50 years until George Foreman came along and beat Michael Moore for it. I think late 80s, early 90s. I can't remember the year off the top of my head. But the difference is when you hear them talking about the undisputed title or the lineal title or the WBA or WBC title, or now they have, going back to the Ring Magazine title with with Turkey Island Sheik buying Ring Magazine. Ring Magazine is that colorful belt, that red, white, and blue belt that used to be on every old fighter's belt. Picture back in the day, that's the Ring Magazine belt. That's the original belt. That's the undisputed belt. Politics again got into the game somewhere in the 80s, and the belts broke up. You remember seeing Riddick Bowe dropping the WBC belt in the trash, I think it was.
Right.
So they didn't pay the sanctioning fees, or didn't like different things that the IBF did. So they would say, I don't want your belt. So then the belts broke up. So then you could be a champ over there. I could be a champ over here. So we got 3 or 4 different, we got alphabet soup.
Right.
So it weakened boxing because it wasn't one belt like it was with Ring Magazine, which is what Turkey Island Sheik is now trying to buy up all these different promotional companies and bring it back to one. So
Okay.
we'll see how that goes. I think his money got funny in terms of how his. I can't speak on that. I don't even want to speak to that man's money. He got way more than I ever think about.
Right.
So let me not even talk about that man. Very
Okay.
disrespectful.
Okay. Well, technically, I asked you 5 questions, but out of respect for poetry, I had to ask you one more.
Sure.
For people who don't know, who is Allison Robinson or Allison Marie?
Oh wow. Oh wow. Wow. A-Rob. I used to call her, and affectionately, when you just said that, in my mind, I called her White Rice. My nickname for her is White Rice. Yeah, you're laughing because like, oh, this is fitting, man. You don't even know why I'm saying this. She's like, why you call me that? I said, because white rice goes with everything. White rice goes with everything. She's a chameleon. She was so helpful and instrumental. And Allison, Allison told me back in the poetic poetry days of yesteryear, uh, that I had to see myself as a brand. She's the person who told me I had to begin to see Chris Cream as a brand. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like what? Like, no, you are the brand. It's not what you bring. It's not your product. You're the brand. So she made me actually begin to see myself in as a marketed product versus just another person and just walking. Like, no, what you represent, how you move with it is what people see. Because I guess so for me, I'm telling who she is for me. She was such a friend in that she would tell me things from the outside looking in about me, the artist, that I couldn't necessarily see and how to manipulate my brand. The person, she's a mother, she's a wife, she's a friend, she's a sister, she's a daughter, she's a professional, but she's a hell of a writer. She's a hell of a writer. I haven't heard of poetry in a long time, but and I won't even speak to the poems that you and I may recall off the top of my head of
Right.
hers.
Right.
But she's a fabulous writer and expressive person, and a great friend to many. I haven't seen her in a while, but I hope she sees this and receives these well wishes of love.
I hope she sees it too. I always say that um, people who are out here doing poetry, especially in the South Jersey, Philly area, who have never met her, owe her
Yeah,
for what she's contributed to
yeah,
to
big
what we
time,
do.
big time,
Her legacy
bro.
continues on, and she hasn't even touched the stage in I don't know how long.
Bro, believe it or not, like there's footage of me on stage in DC at a club down there called Busboys and Poets. Um, I don't even know why we went. A Rob would get. I call her A Rob. I call her A Rob. I call her White Rice.
Right.
Like I can. She goes with anything. Like yo, you go with. Come on, Rob. Come on, A Rob. Let's go. She jump in the wheel with me. We go to Baltimore. We go to DC. We go to New York. We go anywhere. We jump in the car and go anywhere to go perform. And she be right there. Come on, let's go. We out. Uh, she got me booked because she would handle my bookings and stuff for me. As a matter of fact, she used to run my MySpace page for me when it first came out. I didn't do that stuff, and even when Facebook came along, I didn't have it for 20 years because I didn't have an A Rob to run my page for me.
Right.
If I got personal messages in there from like young ladies or whatever, she was so cool. She was like, you might want to funny voice. You might want to check your DM. I'm like, what's the DM? Your inbox. You got messages. She just like would navigate through it and everything else for bookings. She would just line it up and tell me where to go and where to stay. And like she was, to your point, instrumental in that. So she booked me on Bus Boys and Poets down there. I think we popped up down there one time and kind of like signed a list kind of thing. And they liked me. Uh, and long story short, when we were leaving, they got at her, and then she booked me on the feature down there. And I didn't even realize what was going on. Next thing you know, us and maybe 6 or 7 other poets jumped in the car out of Philly, and we drive down to DC, and we get to Bus Boys and Poets. It's like I said, 6 or 7, so it's a few car loads, but there's nowhere to park. They riding around, riding around, riding around. I drop them off in front of the club, and I go park. When I pull up, when I walk up, everybody who was in front of the club is still standing there. I'm like, why y'all outside? And they go, man, they said it's sold out. They ain't letting us in. They ain't letting us in. I'm like, man, come on, we're playing. We featured. What are you talking about? Allison goes in her plain voice. No, it's true. They're waiting for you. They didn't believe we were with you. She turns around and walks to the door, opens it. Big security dude standing there. She got them dark slanted half glasses on with the half
Yeah,
moon. You know the ones I'm talking about.
yeah, I definitely do.
And she opens it with this bland face and just looks at him like, there he is. Doesn't even say shit. Just points at me over
That
his
look,
shoulder. The look, you know the look,
I
like,
know the
bam.
look.
And he opens the door. You know the look I'm talking. I wish I could do it. I can't do the Allison face. I'm an actor, but I
You
can't
got
do
the
the Al.
voice,
I
but
wish I could.
the look is
Right, I
strictly
can't do the
hers.
face, but it was boom. And he opened it, and I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" We shuffled through all these people, and it was a beautiful experience down there. It was all, again, to your point, her juice, her what she was doing. So, which is why she's like, "Yeah, whatever. I brought him here." It's kind of how she was giving him, like, "Come on, let's go, move." But she didn't say anything. It was just her energy. It was just her walk, and it was okay. And when we got in, it was 300 people, damn near in every section. You ever been to Bus Boys and Poets?
Yes, yes.
It was everywhere from left to right to center, and then get the fact wall to wall people. The wall to wall people. I'm like, where are we at? Where are we at? It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful day.
Cool, cool.
What's
Well,
interesting, man?
Chris, those have been 5 questions plus one more. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us and giving us a inside look of Chris Green. I learned some stuff
Listen, Ray.
today.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, who you are as a media source. You've always been. I don't think you get the flowers you deserve because your tenure in the game is longer than mine. You've been 10 toes down in the ink for sheesh. I don't even want to put your age out there, but
Don't do that. Don't do that.
yeah, you got some cement. You got some cement in the game. It ain't even the liquid no more. You've
Yeah,
been out
but
there long enough that some of that stuff, you know,
the best
well,
is
you
still
keep
in
doing
front of
what
me,
you're
though.
doing, bro.
The best is
Oh,
still in
for
front of me.
sure.
All
For
right.
sure. For sure. I like your backdrop right there too, bro. I like that.
All right. Well, make sure you check us out. Thank you.
Listen, make sure you share this to my page and so I can, push your
Definitely.
message forward always, bro.
Definitely.